Told the New York judge presiding over Donald Trump's hush money conviction that they would not object to pausing further proceedings, including his sentencing, whilst arguments continue over the defence request to have the case dismissed. Let's speak to our North America correspondent, Neda Tawfik, who's in New York. Neda, can you just update us on what we know so far?
Yeah, so what we've had is prosecutors here in New York outlining what they think are the appropriate next steps now that Donald Trump, a convicted felon, will be the next occupant of the White House. Now, prosecutors say that they oppose having Donald Trump's criminal conviction dismissed. That is something that the defense is seeking. But in this court filing to the judge, prosecutors have signaled that one possible remedy could be to freeze this case entirely, including Mr. Trump's sentencing, until after his upcoming presidency concludes. So after his second term in office concludes. And what prosecutors say is that essentially there's no law that establishes that Mr. Trump's temporary immunity would clear him of this case, and that they have to be very careful about balancing the independence of the presidency with the integrity of the criminal justice system. So we see just how complicated Donald Trump's legal case here, the state case in New York, is becoming by the fact that he has won the election, that he is now the president-elect. And we wait now to see what the judge will say. What the defense has suggested in a statement in reaction to this is that this is a victory for Mr. Trump and that they will move ahead trying to get this case dismissed so that they can clear Donald Trump's record.
Just remind us what Donald Trump was found guilty of.
Well, Donald Trump was convicted in this case in New York, the so-called hush money case, of 34 felony counts. And this was a case where he was accused of trying to corrupt the 2016 election by paying hush money to a woman who, the Stormy Daniels, the porn star Stormy Daniels, who said that she had an affair with Mr. Trump. And then he fraudulently put in business filings recording those payments as business expenses instead of a hush money payment. Now, Donald Trump has said that he never had any sexual encounter with Stormy Daniels and that this entire case had been a witch hunt. And so he has been challenging this case through the appeals court, and he is still seeking to have it dismissed, despite the fact that a unanimous jury convicted him in this case.
If it is just delayed until after he finishes his next term in office, but once Donald Trump takes office, does he have the legal authority to throw it out at that point?
He will not have the authority to pardon himself in this case, to have his attorney general, for example, if he does get one of his loyalists in, to have this case and this conviction thrown out. And that is simply because it is not a federal case. It is a state case. And it is also not an ongoing state case. Remember, he was convicted, and so that adds another layer of complexity here. But again, it is going through the court system because of the fact that Donald Trump knows he cannot just simply pardon himself in this case.
This is obviously an unprecedented situation, Neda, and politically very interesting. We don't know whether it had any impact at all on the election, but Donald Trump obviously has won a resounding victory. People will be wanting to see what happens now once the judge makes his decision.
Yeah, you know, Geeta, I go back to on the day of that conviction, Donald Trump said the real verdict would be on November 5th, when the voting public would decide. And that's really kind of always been the way he's used these cases, to portray himself as a victim of judicial persecution, despite no evidence of that whatsoever. And he clearly used this to not only rally his base, but to perhaps, use every moment in this courthouse as a bit of a rally to use that public attention to his benefit in the election. Now, as you say, there's no way to know how exactly this case may have benefited him, but nevertheless, he has used it as part of his talking points. And certainly, I think anyone looking at the rule of law in this